Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am excited to connect with you today. We are talking about set it and forget it content systems and the do's and don'ts. And I'm about to be giving you a really simple but powerful structure to ensure that your content gets more eyeballs and clicks. I'm Sherry Moyse, your intuitive business alchemist. And my intention is that you have the data that astrology has to offer to elevate all that you're doing in your marketing, especially your content marketing and planning, because at the end of the day, that's those foundational systems and structures that we've got to have in place in order to connect with more soul clients, which means you doing the work in the world that you want to do. So let's dive into today's topic. And the reason we're talking about systems and structures is because we are in Virgo season. And this is that time where we want to put process and order to things. And one of the things that I know can happen, because kind of been there, done that, we can get shiny object syndrome during Virgo season. We can come up with all these ways to get organized and structured, and yet it ends up not serving us. It doesn't serve our inspiration, or it doesn't serve the actual aim that we have, which ideally, right, is to connect with more clients. So I really wanted to dive into this topic today because it's something I'm really passionate about. And by the way, I have friends that do this for folks who help them with what I'm lovingly calling set it and forget it systems. And I don't think that they are bad, but I think that they can be detrimental to you in your business if you don't take a really practical and conscious approach to putting them into place. So I'm all for setting about structures around content creation. It's something that I struggled with for a long time. Astrology has given me a fantastic structure that really works with how I'm wired and designed. And I've watched it support my clients, different wiring, different design, but still they can weave that through. So let's talk about some reasons why you would want to have some structure around content creation. Well, first of all, if you're not creating content on a regular basis, you're not getting your message out there and you're not connecting with clients. But the problem that I see with most content creation structures or these set it, forget it systems is the biggest problem that I have with it is that they don't take into consideration the ebb and flow of the energies of the collective. They don't take into account where people's focus is, the big spotlight, the sun. It ends up being monotone, or it ends up you're selling Christmas in July. And I say that tongue in cheek, but I've talked about this before. If you are positioning your content in a way that doesn't address the focus of the collective at the moment and doesn't take that into consideration, it's going to fall on deaf ears, likely. Those that are closest to you, those that are tuned into you will probably be fine, but you're not hitting that next layer of potential clients when you are not tuned into that bigger picture. And oftentimes we'll create a great post. It has a great impact in a particular cycle or season. And then we just rework it a few months later. Well, the energies are different. So if you don't have that big picture cycle flow in mind, then you are taking a great post, reusing it, which is fantastic. We can and should rework our content, but we need to do it with intention because we want to also leave room for that inspiration. We want to make sure we're infusing our own personality. You're infusing your own personality and energy into the content. Now, here's a question. Is your energy the same all the time? Is your focus the same all the time? Is how you felt last month in August feel the same as you do now in September? Unlikely. So why would your content have the same approach in August that it does in September, aka Leo season versus Virgo season? So we want to create structures and systems and processes that will ensure that we're getting engagement with that content. Set it and forget it can leave us also. I've seen this time and time again. When I get in a cycle of, I have structure, by the way. I got structure for a big picture system for my content. We do this on Mondays, this on Tuesdays, these kinds of things. We have a flow. I call it a flow. And within that flow, I'm addressing the energies, the collective energies. I'm working with the cycle themes. I'm working with where the personal planets are. I'm looking at where the moon is today, which is a much more detailed level that we work with in the lab, in my membership. But you can start with this really simply. You can use this just by tuning in to these sun cycles, taking a 30,000 foot view with your content and just zhuzhing it so that it's meeting that focus, meeting that level of attention, where people's attention is. Right now, we're looking for structures and systems and processes and order. So taking what you talk about, taking your content pillars and focusing your content to have that flavor, to have that lens. It doesn't change what you're talking about, what you're doing. I can be talking about sun cycles in any season, any cycle, and give you a different point of view. But right now, we're talking about structure and order. So we're going to stay focused on that. But it's a busy, busy online world, right? For those of you in the online, even if you're offline, how do you stand out? You got to give yourself, in my opinion, every advantage you can to get more eyeballs on your content, get more folks to click. And that's where astrology comes in. This is that advantage that you get when you're tuned into it. And this is really what we focus on in the lab, ensuring that that marketing, that planning that you're doing with your content, with your offers, is dialed into these cycles and that you understand them and that you can connect your content to them. But you can, and I'm going to be deep diving into this in a couple of weeks, next month, into this process in Content with the Cosmos. It's going to be a 3-day challenge where we're going to really dig into what you've got planned and how you can infuse this energy into it to get better results so you can end the year really strong. And we'll use this Libra cycle in October to polish up what you've got going on. But more on that coming soon. In the meantime, if you don't already have the Sun Cycles for Success content marketing guide, that's going to give you the snippet, the big picture overview of all the sun cycles so that you can start looking at what's coming up and does your content align with it, or how can you align with it? It'll at least give you a flavor. We go much, much deeper with that in the lab because there's just more room for that than I can give you, and do justice to in just a post or a quick video. But, and then you can take it even another layer deeper. So we've got the big picture sun cycles. The other piece of structure that I would invite you to tune into, if you're not already in the Facebook group, if you're watching this on YouTube, or then on Mondays in the AstroBiz Hub Facebook group, I post a Cosmos weather forecast. That weather forecast reminds you of where the sun is, and I give you a different flavor. Every week, I give you a different prompt, basically, for how you can use that sun cycle guidance. And then beneath that, it gives you really juicy, where your soul client's motivation, desires, how they want to be communicated to. And the way I suggest people use that is as inspiration. If you really want to tap into how folks are desiring or how they want to be communicated to, that's going to give you that guidance. So just another layer of inspiration. It works great. My clients, even in the lab, they'll say they pop into the group to just get inspired around, a post they're working on. They know the big picture theme, and then we want to dial it in a little bit deeper. And then there's a third layer of this content creation process, the structure that you can use astrology. And that's where we dive into the moon. The moon is the collective emotion, the emotions of the collective. It's what we're feeling, what we're tuned into. And I really work with my clients to utilize that most specifically when they're in an invitation cycle, because we really are doing more day in, day out posting, usually at that point, or writing and communication. And so making sure their energy and emotional being is where they want it to be and where it's going to be supportive, and that they're tuned in and plugged into where that collective emotional energy is as well. And that's definitely a deeper layer. We had our lab call yesterday, and multiple of my clients are working on some invitation cycles. And so we were tuning in, picking dates, and looking at where the moon was. So lots of ways to utilize astrology to create a structure and a system for yourself. You can overlay it in any other process you already have. If you do your emails to your list every Thursday or every Tuesday, you can tune into the astrology first and just make sure that you have it, that lens within how you're presenting your content. If you post in your group or on your page or on Instagram, you can use this information again as a lens, so that with the goal that we're getting people's attention, that we are getting more eyeballs and more clicks, because we got to stop the scroll somehow, right? We got to get people to tune in. And this is, I don't call it a magic pill, but it's definitely a little bit of fairy dust and a little bit of magic. But it's that cosmos spotlight that you can use to your advantage that other people may not be, to ensure that your content is standing out. All right, so quick recap. I'd love to know how this is landing for you and what your thoughts are. Have you tried using the sun cycles or tried playing with any of this, the cosmos weather, and how's it working for you? What have you noticed? And if you haven't yet, I would encourage you to test it for yourself. Take my word for it, try it out, see how it works. I can tell you that once I started doing this, my open rates increased by 30%. From where they were before to when I started to tune into the sun cycle and ensure that my content was focused on that. The open rates went up. So do's and don'ts for a set it and forget it system. Do create an overall structure you can lean into. You got to leave room for inspiration. And so you can also infuse your own energy. But if you're going to do a set it and forget it system, be sure you're aware of the big picture themes the sun has to guide you in how you frame your content. And because you don't want to lose sight of that engagement piece. Set it and forget it is supposed to be engaged with. It's not a forever thing. And as you grow and change, so does your content, so does the way you present it. But it's not presented the same. We can't be monotone. So don't be monotone in your approach if you're using a set it and forget it type of system. Make sure you are taking time to tune in, to check in, to make that a bit of an adjustment for each cycle. And those keys to using, the simplest key to leveraging content with the cosmos is going to be the sun cycles. So if you don't already have that document, grab that, and then I'll put a link below, or you can just go to my website, sherrymoist.com, which is still under construction, but I do have that set up for you right at the top. You can grab that and then play with the cosmos weather forecast if you haven't already. Pop in the group on Mondays. I'm going to start showing some examples and showcasing some other ways you can work with this probably on Tuesdays in the group. And then Wednesdays I'll show up live and we'll dive deep like we did today into a topic. All right, my friends, get out there, get that content focused, get it in front of those potential soul clients so they can experience all the magic you have to offer the world. And just remember, the cosmos is a fantastic guide to help you get there and beyond. All right, I will see you soon.